Mini rant incoming. I want to talk about something I keep seeing on my For You page on TikTok. People saying that they stopped strength training and started doing Pilates, and now all of a sudden their muscles are looking long and lean and their physique goals are coming true. I feel like you can really see my Invisalign. Anyways, now first things first, I am not saying you should not do Pilates or that Pilates is bad for you. And if you're happy doing it, amazing. But I want to dispel the myths that I've seen in these types of posts. I feel like it's my duty as a fitness professional. The number one premise of this myth that I want to dispel is that you can change the way that your muscles look once they grow. You cannot make your muscles long and lean. People think that certain exercises or types of training will give you long and lean muscles. Some will give you big muscles, some will give you small muscles. Ultimately, you're either building muscle or you're not, and the degree to which you build muscle is really what determines how different it looks. So you can change the size of your muscles through resistance training. If you grow your muscles bigger, they look bigger. If you don't grow them as much, you don't have as much muscle. The degree to which how visible they are is going to be affected by your body fat levels. So even if you have quite a bit of muscle, which by the way, most people do not have that problem, if it's covered by body fat, you're really not going to be able to see it as effectively. And if you have less body fat, you're going to see more muscle definition, even if you have less than someone with more body fat. So you can change the size of your muscles and you can change how visible they are by manipulating how much muscle you have and how much body fat you have. That is true. But you can't change where your muscles originate and insert. You cannot change the length of your muscles. You cannot change your genetics. You can't change your height. You can't change your limb length. All these things affect how your muscle will ultimately look once it is developed. So you're probably wondering, okay, how come I got such amazing results from Pilates then? Or Betty Joe got such amazing results from Pilates. So here's the thing. Pilates is still a form of resistance training. When you are doing any form of resistance training, whether that be lifting weights, even calisthenics, like doing gymnastics or Pilates or these kind of things, you're giving your body resistance to work against, which ultimately is going to build muscle. Mind you, it is a lot less effective to build muscle doing other modalities besides resistance training because there's no way to progressively overload. So things like Pilates, gymnastics, all these things I mentioned, you're going to be able to build muscle to a certain degree, but unless you can increase the stimulus or increase the weight, increase the reps, increase the resistance, which you can most effectively do through lifting weights, you're going to stall out at a certain point. So it's simply not as effective towards building muscle like weight training, period. So there's no argument that Pilates is going to give you more muscle than weight training. It's just not going to do that, guys. The reason that people are saying that they look better from doing Pilates or longer and leaner is simply because they lost enough body fat to reveal the muscle, period. It's either one of two things. You're losing fat or you're building muscle or you're doing both. There's no such thing as like, I built a different kind of muscle. There's only one kind of muscle. So what happened was, whether or not these people that got such amazing results were dieting or not, or meant to lose body fat, they lost body fat. That probably wasn't just from the Pilates itself, because you will never primarily lose body fat from exercise. No matter what type of exercise you're doing, it just doesn't add to the caloric deficit needed for fat loss as much as from your food intake. That's beside the point. If someone is noticing more muscle definition and a slimmer shape, a leaner shape, more toned, whatever, they're doing Pilates, they simply just lost enough body fat to reveal it. And that's fine. And you might be thinking, okay, but maybe they just have less muscle now that they're doing Pilates and that's why they look so good. Let me tell you why that is not the case for 99% of people. Number one, building muscle is an extremely intentional process, especially for women. Women have less of the hormones that govern muscle building than men. So obviously we're going to build less muscle than men. So the women that are worried about getting bulky from resistance training, what I really want you to understand is that the women who truly look bulky, that was not from accidentally doing a little bit of circuits at the gym, okay, or doing a couple weight training classes or whatever. There are some genetic freaks who build muscle very, very quickly. But what I can tell you is, if you feel like you look bulky from resistance training, that comes from having more body fat covering the muscle. Muscle is extremely challenging. It takes a lot of high effort. It takes a lot of weeks, months, years combined together to get even like a toned look, let alone like overly bulky. The women that look that way, like professional bodybuilders who are huge, they are taking anabolic steroids 100%. Okay. So you'd be very strapped to find any woman out there who is natural, who hasn't really weight trained that much, who built too much muscle from just dabbling in weight training. It just doesn't happen. So again, if you enjoy Pilates, if it's making you happy, if it's getting you the physique that you want, by all means, keep going. Keep going with it, okay? Like, I want everyone to do things that they enjoy. But the myth that I want to dispel is that the long and lean muscles are not coming from Pilates. You're not getting a different type of physique sculpting. It's not like we're taking like a pick and making a statue here and saying like this is a Pilates body, this is a resistance training body. You're building muscle or you're not, you're losing fat or you're not. Whatever way you want to describe your love for Pilates, go for it. But those are the myths, guys. I want to put them to bed. And the reason I made this whole video in the first place is because I was one of those people who believed these kind of things way back when. I used to do cardio classes, Pilates, yoga. I used to think that like I was broken in some way from not getting results from doing these things, or I needed to, I don't know, change something about myself. But truly, I never saw the transformative change I wanted in looking toned, sculpted, fit, feminine, whatever, like I did with resistance training. So I don't want people going towards Pilates and dumping resistance training in the garbage because they think, oh, this isn't going to work in shaping my physique and I'm going to go with this long and lean thing. No. Well, I can imagine this is probably going to cause some stir. But again, I stand by everything I said, guys. I'm never telling you what to do or what not to do. I'm simply spitting the facts. I would love to know in the comments, which one do you prefer, resistance training or Pilates? And tell me why. And if you like my little rant, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.